Okay. I want to start off with issuing a warning that in the event that my computer would go down again, Paul and Gary will take over the call until I can get back online. And I also want to let everyone know that I'm going to get a new computer here probably next week, between now and next week. So hopefully I won't have these problems in the future. But in the meantime, it happens, okay? So hopefully everybody can see my screen okay. So let's get started. We got a lot of things to talk about tonight. I'll tell you, we've had a lot of activity in this past month, mainly in October, but starting out in November. So got a lot of things to pass on to you, a lot of things in the works that I want to tell you about. So a lot of things been going on in our state. So I got a lot to pass on to you tonight. But let's get started with our vision statement. Our vision, of course, is to build a Hoosier grassroots community of citizens and legislators dedicated to the constitutional concept of self-governance. So that remains as our vision here in the state of Indiana. Now, our mission statement, this has been our mission statement for 2019. These are the goals that we have been trying to achieve here in our state for 2019. Now, these are going to change, all right? Of course, these remain our goals, mission goals for 2019, but we're going to be changing these, and I want to talk about, one of the things I want to talk about tonight. We still have, of course, our mission goals with targeted legislators, 40,000 supporters, region captains, and our young Americans for COS. Those are still our mission goals for 2019. But as you know, in October, we had a 2020 strategy meeting. And it was a very, very good meeting. Paul led the strategy meeting again for us this year. And I want to pass on to you tonight some of the things that came out of that meeting. Now, we haven't finalized things. Paul and Gary and I are meeting regularly to kind of hone all the information that we got out of the strategy meeting. But I want to pass on to you right now that I think our mission goals, okay, for 2020, we haven't finalized how these are going to be stated, but we're basically going to narrow it down to two mission goals for 2020. Number one is to meet with all assigned and targeted legislators. Again, we haven't finalized how we're going to state these exactly, but one of them is going to be dealing with legislators, meeting with assigned legislators and targeted legislators. And then the second goal, mission goal, is to grow the grassroots to 52,000. 52,000, I should have put on here, 52,000 supporters. Now, I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more later on, but those are going to be basically our mission goals for 2020. Now, in the meeting, a number of different, we're calling strategies. We're calling them strategies for right now. A number of activities were identified in the meeting, things that we need to do or do a better job that we're doing now, or create these activities in order to achieve the mission goals that I just stated for 2020. And I'm not going to go through each one of these, but you'll see that that we're calling these strategies, and you'll see that these are activities that we want to engage in, and that's what we're trying to work through and trying to incorporate in programs going into 2020. Just to look at a couple of these, just-in-time training. Now, the training program was an item that we discussed, and we talked about how some revamping that we needed to do with our district captain training program, and how we need to certain things that we need to incorporate, certain things that maybe we no longer need to do. So Paul is going to be working with those of you involved in the training program. Paul's going to be working with you to as he goes through to revamp our training program. And does anyone have any questions about any of these or anything that we've talked about so far? Anybody have any questions? Okay. Another one that I might mention that was talked about was the DC mentoring. And that I think we're going to see as part of the training program, whereby we have existing district captains mentoring new district captains that are in training. That was thought to be a very, very good suggestion. Minimum of DC expectations. So we talked about setting forth expectations for district captains and what the minimum would be. So anybody have any questions on these?
I got one on the newsletter.
Okay.
You say newsletters quarterly.
Yeah.
Is that like you want each district captain to put out a newsletter quarterly, or what? What's the?
Yes, we've been asking district captains and/or region captains to generate a monthly newsletter using the template that Ken got set up through National, and it was thought that monthly was too frequent, so the suggestion was that we go to quarterly newsletters.
Yeah, I think quarterly is better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what that one's about.
All right. Thank you.
So, Dale, this is Melba.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. I would just want to clarify. So, it is still all right, though, if people in the same region put out a newsletter together, for example, the way that Larry and I have been working?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. And thank you for bringing up. There were some other things talked about in the strategy meeting. I just don't have them all listed here. But as I said, we're trying to massage these and work them into programs and efforts that are underway to get us ready for 2020. As a matter of fact, one of the programs for district captains, I'm going to have Gary talking about it here a little later. I hope Gary gets on the call tonight. I haven't seen him show up yet. So, okay. Any other questions on this?
I don't have a question. I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
Or not a comment. I'd like to make a suggestion.
Okay.
When we have to write something for the state, sometimes it's a struggle to come up with something exciting to put on for the state. So I would like to suggest that the district captains and regional captains could write on the Slack channel under DC Forum events that they may be holding statewide.
Okay.
Because there could be, there will be things happening outside of Hamilton County that I may not be aware of, but
Right.
it would be great to include in the state section of the newsletter.
Okay. Okay. I would also suggest, Melba, that you, when we recognize events that take place in the state on our state call, like we're going to do tonight, make note of those. Those are certainly events that you can include in your newsletter too.
Noted. Thank you.
But it's a very good point. The Slack channel DC Forum, that's where you can share that type of information as well as any other ideas that you have. So that's a good suggestion. Thank you. All right, Rodney, are you there yet tonight?
I am, sir.
There you go. Okay, I didn't see you pop up on here. Well, Rodney, you're up, my man. There you are. Okay. Yeah. Let us know what's happening nationally here, huh?
Yeah, well, the first thing I'll cover, because it's kind of getting to be old news, is the call to action test that we had.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate the Indiana team for getting 100% of the DCs and the RCs to respond to the survey and that.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was very few across the country reached 100%, and you helped drive up the past state's percentage overall. So thank you all for doing everything you do, including that.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think I'm still a little worn out from the Midland meeting that we had last week. If you all didn't know, the national staff team meets. We try to meet twice a year in Midland, Texas. And we kind of try to talk about strategies and what's happened over the past 6 months or a year since we were there, and what we got going forward. And there was a lot covered, but I'm just going to cover what we did that I see as pertains to the past states. So one of the things I've been talking about for quite some time is past states getting involved in watching or being vigilant about bad legislation in their state that kind of violates the cause values, your liberty, your rights, things like that. And then when you have good legislation that supports those things, then it's a good opportunity to get the state team to support those statewide, and we've got tools to be able to do those kind of things. And it's a process we have to do. You do it as a team, but it has to be evaluated by state leaders and me and national and all that, and whether we take action on any of that. You can even do it at the local level if necessary. We haven't done any of that yet. So we got like 3 criteria that it has to fit. It's one of 3 items, and the legislation that you'd be looking at relates to core principles of federalism or involves significant impact on the rights of citizens to govern themselves, or directly involves civil liberties and fundamental rights. So just some things to keep an eye out for. If you see something that needs to be fixed in Indiana, by all means speak up and we'll take a look at it. We're in election season. We have been probably since about June, and Indiana seems to be able to elect some pretty good people overall, I guess. And as a cause representative, you, of course, if you've watched the legal course, you can't campaign or endorse for any particular candidate for election in any office, even at the local level. But as a team, there are things that can be done. Some things like getting the word out in your district through an email of early voting dates, absentee ballot dates, encouraging people to be poll watchers, election judges, and even joining your signing up. I don't know how you do it in Indiana. I only know about Missouri. Is committeeman, committeewoman, party chair, whatever for your party, And that leads you, if you can make it all the way up and be selected to be a delegate for your congressional district convention, and then up to the state convention, and possibly the national convention. And a lot of that has to do with helping select who runs for office and gets the biggest backing on that. Anybody can run for office and do it themselves, but a lot of times the party will champion somebody along those lines, and it's those state committees that do that. Another thing we did was there was 4 goals that were outlined at Midland that revolved around recruiting district captains, because they realize all states have a little bit of trouble with that. We've actually done some video email recruiting in Georgia, Oklahoma, Alaska, and states like that. And even with that, we've only had like 1 person apply for the district captain role. And so Laura Scala used to be like a major social media person for nationally before she started doing the Convention of State store stuff, and she thinks she can get a lot of people to sign up to be, or apply to be district captains. So she's going to take that up. I don't know how it's going to be. You'll see some more on that later. There are also some things identified with onboarding them, or even getting them into the application process. There's kind of a glitch with the volunteer agreement and the email confirmation when they apply for a role. Some people are getting lost in there. You never see them in the leadership management tool. And it's a small number nationally, but it's really kind of huge when you consider the number of DCs we have nationally. So they're going to look at figuring out how to fix that. And these people have been tracked, and Mike Cassidy, a national SIA guy, has been working with those people to get them through the application process. He can see when they apply and they haven't finished the process. So that's been kind of handled manually now, but they're going to try to automate it. They also realize the onboarding process probably needs to be streamlined. And so there's going to be some work done there.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yeah, and we mentioned the role descriptions on the page need to be changed. The number of hours it takes for each role needs to be removed. I'm going to need to push that, I think, because it'll get forgotten, and I'll have to stay on top of it and make sure that we get that done on the national level. So that's all the big things. I'll try not to take up too much of your time here, but that's
okay. Rodney, you know, on the state director's call last week, the call came from Midland during your meeting. I was just amazed at how big the group was there. And I can remember back when I first got to see these meetings like that. I mean, it was like a table. You know, everybody was sitting around one table. How many attended this meeting this time?
I think they said there were 38.
Wow.
I think there's like 42 total. There were like 4 that weren't there.
Wow, wow. Was Diane there? Was Diane Gomez there?
She was. She asked
there?
about you guys. I said, you're doing great. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Anybody got any questions for Rodney?
I got one other quick thing that I want to mention.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. One other quick thing that you might see. There's this thing called Telepatriot, and some of you may be aware of it. Some of you may not be.
Yeah.
It's going to get rolled into a phone application that's also going to be a desktop application at some point, and it's called COS Action App. This is going to eventually, and not too far down the road, be like Convention of States or Citizen Builder in your pocket. But the first thing going into it's Telepatriot, and it's going to be an awesome tool that you can use on your phone instead of having to sit at your computer to do everything, for those that can operate on the phone that well. So stay on the lookout for that coming out. It's going to come out for the iPhone pretty soon, and the Android's got a few bugs they need to work out, and it'll be coming out soon too.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Rodney. Thank you. All right, let's move on then, and let's get into grassroots. We'll be talking about training new leaders here. Districts per region. Those are the typical tracking reports that we look at every month. Still looking to fill various positions across the state. And we'll, as you know, we're always looking for people to fill these positions. So keep these in mind as you're talking to volunteers in your districts. But let's go to new leaders now. We picked up 3 new people in the training program. 2 of them are district captain trainees. Benjamin Nip in District 79. Chad Mickle, I'm not sure how he pronounces the last name, but District 38.
It's Michael. I asked him.
It is Michael? Okay. And then Allison Hanley, I think George mentioned that, new social media warrior and volunteer. Training completed, should have Corey Barr completed before the month is over. I had him scheduled for Module 6, the final module, last week, but he had a death in his family, so that postponed things. But hopefully we'll have Corey finished up, hopefully next week, I'm thinking, and we'll have him on board as a district captain. Okay, districts per region. Again, this report, as well as other reports, will be pinned to our general channel on Slack, so you can look closer at this at your own convenience. But we're at 21 district captains. We have increased, and you can see the distribution there throughout the state. All the red highlighted districts are where we have a district captain, either an existing district captain or one in training. And of course, our goal this year was try to get 5 district captains in each district. So we've fallen short on most of these. And we, of course, wanted to get more region captains, but we've got 3 in place right now. So again, this report will be pinned to the general channel, so you can take a look at it at your convenience and study it a little closer. Okay. Now, the grassroots tracking. This is a report that's under revision. Okay. And the reason it's under revision is, and Tim Heidenreich, one of our SIAs, he compiles this report for us every month. What we are doing, this relates back to our goal of hitting 40,000 supporters here in 2019. What we've been tracking all year is we've been tracking petition signers. Well, this was brought up in the strategy meeting that we really should be tracking supporters, because supporters, which includes petition signers, but it includes the people that haven't signed the petition, and that number, actually, the number of supporters is the number that ties into the district dashboard number, and it's also the number that gets rolled up in the national number where it's reported that we have over 4 million supporters. So we're going to switch to supporters, and I can just tell you right now, as far as supporters are concerned, if we look at the number of supporters, we're at almost 41,000 supporters in the state of Indiana right now. So we will have exceeded our 40,000 goal. Now, the problem is that National doesn't report it this way. And Tim is trying, and Rodney, maybe you can help us on this or get involved in this, but Tim is trying to work with Mike Cassidy, as a matter of fact, and national, to try and get this documented in some way so that we can include it in our reporting in our state calls each month. So that's why it's under revision. We're trying to get a format created here so it'll be by region and by district, so you'll be able to track your the number of supporters. So that's why it's under revision. But the main point here is we're switching from petition signers, we're switching to supporters. Does anyone have any questions on that?
No.
Yeah, Dale, Larry Hudson.
Yeah.
I'm a bit uncertain because I really don't know how these so-called supporters even get into the system, much less support us. And so I guess I'm a bit reticent in wanting to count supporters that aren't petition signers. So can you or can someone tell me how these people even get in the system? Who puts them in the system? How do we know they're supporters?
Yeah, you want me to speak to that, Bill?
Yeah, go ahead, Rodney.
Yeah, so when people go to our site and sign up, however they get there, you can sign up without signing the petition. You can even check the box to volunteer or not check the box to volunteer. If you provide an email address, I think it's both an email address and phone number, or at least one of those, then you're considered a supporter. Now, you don't want to count them out because we've done campaigns where, mostly in the non-pass states, but in the pass states we've done, in a couple of pass states, we've done campaigns where we've had to have people reach out to their legislator through a thing called citizen voice or voter voice. And you would be surprised at the number of supporters we have out there that have not signed the petition, but they will respond to a call to action or a campaign where you need them to support something that you're doing.
So that's all the more reason why, for those that I don't see having signed the petition, to maybe call them and get them to sign the petition, or should we just lay off because they obviously don't want to sign the petition or would have already done so?
Yeah, it's a good idea to touch base with them. Some of them may have signed up quite a long time ago and didn't sign the petition. They would now. Some of them may have just missed the signed petition part. But I can tell you, Indiana doesn't have a huge number of people that haven't signed the petition, I don't think.
Yeah, that's please feel free to do that, Larry. It's just not something we're going to push as a state project. So I've struggled with this just like you have over the years, and I've just come to the conclusion that if someone says that they are supporting us, then that's as good as that's good to me. That they're supporting what we're trying to do. So we're going to count them. We're going to count them. Okay. Anybody else have a question? All right. Okay. This next report was the district captain activity tracking report, and that is also under revision. And I want Gary to come on and talk about this new program. This is Gary's idea. And we're working, Gary, Paul, and I are working on honing this program. I think it's going to be a good program, and it will be taking the place of the region captain status report and this region captain activity tracking report. So, but it's under revision. We're still working through it. But I wanted Gary, you want to come on and say a few words about it?
Sure. Thanks, Dale. A couple things for just some highlights from October. We had a number of October activities where people went to the generally GOP bean dinners around the state. So we had a number of legislator contacts that way, as well as some other attempts to make contact. We had a very successful gun show down in Kokomo that yielded over 50 new petition signatures, and the recruitment of a new district captain, that's Chad Michael. And so a big shout out and thank you to Larry Hudson and Melba Kaiser for that effort, because that really paid off. And around the country, that's one of the things people have found, is that at gun shows where you get face-to-face with people is a great opportunity to recruit new volunteers. Now, as far as what we're developing, one of the things that, we're looking at that, we have an exciting plan for district captains that I think is going to help them select and plan the best activities to build legislator relationships and to grow the grassroots. And we believe this is going to help them focus on their efforts in a very productive way, and looking forward to rolling that out probably next month.
Right, okay. I'm almost tempted to talk more about it, but I don't want to get ahead of the game here. It does involve expectations, but I think what you're going to see is many more opportunities to meet the expectations that we have. So, and you'll be able to track much easier. You'll be able to track how you're doing it as far as meeting those expectations. So, hopefully it'll be an incentive to everyone. And so I think it's a good idea, and I think Gary's, I think it's going to be very successful. So, like I said, we're working on it. Does anyone have any questions about that? I know we're kind of not giving you much hard information on it, but anyone have any questions on that? Okay. All right. Now, Gary mentioned some activities that occurred. I wanted to recognize one event that happened this past month. Was Richard Volken, who's region captain in Region 2, conducted actually he appeared as a guest for the St. Joseph County Tea Party, and he appeared and was given some time to speak about Convention of States. And Paul, I think you and Gary went to this meeting, right?
Yeah, and George. So you're right on all three.
Oh, George was there too?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Who do you think took the picture you're looking at?
Yeah. Okay, that's right. You didn't you? So, did they seem to greet us with open arms? How did the meeting go?
I thought it went really well. The chairperson for the meeting is really enthusiastic about us. She had a lot of questions and was very chatty about it with us after the meeting. People there did pay attention. There was some problem in getting hold of a lot of people. I guess Larry said there's usually maybe a couple dozen people there, but I think we only had 7 or 8 that showed up. There was some kind of problem with notifying people. I don't know that was on our end or not, but no, they seemed very open. They took the literature and they had questions afterwards. I thought it went very well. Larry did a good job, and we had a nice slide presentation. Gary's talked, and Paul gave a presentation. It went well. Went good.
Good. Oh, that's, not all tea parties are supportive of what we're trying to do. I spoke at one in Columbia City some time ago, and the leader of the party, after my presentation was all over, the leader of the party got up and told everyone that he wasn't in favor of this. So,
That is somebody that you ought to throw the Mickler on YouTube did it's like a 45-minute video on kind of the history of how he became a citizen activist and how he got involved with the Tea Party and how everything worked into what we got now. But you got to throw that video at her and stuff.
Well, he said he wasn't supportive of it, but I had a number of people in the audience come up to me afterward and said that they were supportive and they wanted to sign the petition. So, but anyway, just thought I'd throw that in. Okay, Paul, I believe you're up next with legislative.
Yes, I'm here. I'm just trying to click my video properly. There we go.
Okay.
So let's do this in reverse order because I see the slides you've got here, Dale. So I'll talk about training first.
Okay.
As Dale mentioned, as a result of our strategic planning meeting, we've got some great feedback from the district captains on some need for improvement to our training program. So Dale assigned that to me. We're taking a hard look at the training. As far as the training that's done now, we're going to keep most of that. The stuff that's done by George and myself and Gary and some others and Ken. But we're going to supplement that with some of the new COS University training, and I think this will help give the district captains some clearer training. And my perception after looking through all of the training and what goes on is that we dump a huge amount of information in the lap of the new district captains and then cut them loose and say, go do your job. What we'd like to do is, Dale referred to it as just-in-time training, where we break it down into smaller chunks and go through some training, teach the DCs some stuff, and then give them a chance to apply that specific knowledge before moving on to the next topic. Instead of going through all, what do we have, 6 or 8 topics all at once and then turn them loose to be a district captain. So excuse me, we're hoping to structure that in a more effective format, I guess is the way I'd put that.
Okay.
Legislative meetings, I got a whole list of them here. I think
now I've got a slide on this. I wanted to highlight some of the targeted legislator.
Yeah. So Dale, you're one I had had met with Chris May.
Right.
And Eric, I assume it's pronounced Koch.
Cook, I think.
Like the Koch brothers, although let's not start any rumors. He's not one of the Koch brothers.
Right.
They aren't financing us.
But
so
Chris May.
Comment, Dale?
Yeah, Chris May was the real targeted legislator here because we didn't know if he supported us or not. So he was the main target that I was after when I went to this Lincoln Day dinner down in Nashville, Indiana, for Brown County. And Eric Cook, or Koch, he was actually he's a supporter. He was actually one of our sponsors, I think, on the resolution. So he was very, very open to me, obviously. And while I was there, I happened to say hi to Senator Mike Braun. And he knew all about us. So he was very, very supportive of us.
Right, Diane had commented to me in the past how when he was in the State House, Senator Braun was a big help to her in getting our resolution passed. I also want to comment, and Chris May was a targeted legislator. So good job, Dale. You got one of our targets.
Right. That was the objective. And any of you district captains, if you come across meetings that are coming up like this, Lincoln Day dinners or any other type of meeting where, especially if a targeted legislator is going to be attending that meeting, that's a good time to go and just introduce yourself and just ask the question if they support us. So they're good opportunities. You want to talk about the Miami County GOP?
So let's move on. Kudos to Vicki and Ed. I didn't see them on the call here, but they did a great job at the Miami County GOP dinner. They met with Representative Eric Manning, who, again, another targeted legislator, so good job. Right. And then Senator Stacy Donato, although she was not targeted. But they had some really good meetings, and Ed did a fantastic job of sending me some detailed notes on those meetings.
He did an amazing job of getting all that information. Folks, you should have seen the information that Ed put together. I guess he was able to have some very, very good conversations with these individuals, with these legislators. Much more than you normally have time to at these events. They're generally just very much meet and greet type thing. But boy, Ed really got a lot of information from both of them. So good job, Ed Paraguay and Victoria.
And then I've got a couple more that we don't have pictures for here, Dale.
Okay.
In the past month, Gary Harbaugh did have a meeting with Ben Smaltz.
Okay.
Gary, I don't know if you want to comment on it. A little bit of trivia here. They are former political rivals, and I think it was a civil meeting. So, Gary, you want to comment at all?
Yeah, I got even with him. He had to buy me coffee. He and I ran against each other in the Indiana House primary in District 52 back in 2012. So anyway, that's the history of that. But I had a very cordial meeting with him. Was not focused on convention estates, but we did talk about that some. And as you know, he's a big supporter of convention estates, and he heard my pitch every time we had a campaign presentation where everybody was there. I talked about that, so he must have believed me.
Great. Thanks, Gary.
Good job. Good, Gary.
And then at the Republican Party Bean Dinner, I got a chance to talk with Senator Andy Zay, who is already a supporter. Very good conversation with him. And then my daughter Maya had a chance to talk with Senator Justin Bush. She was seated at the same table as he. So these party dinners are just very fertile ground for getting some time with the legislators. So I'd encourage you to take advantage of those. Next up will be in the spring when we have the Lincoln Day dinners on the Republican side. But don't just limit it to the Republican side. The Democrats eat too, and they have some dinners. Check your local party's webpage, and you'll be able to find those and attend as well.
Okay.
And then the last thing, the tracking report. We have added 8 new supporters in terms of target legislators so far this year. The good news is we haven't had added any opposition. We're still at 6 there in terms of our target legislators, and we've still got 36 who've been undeclared that we still need to work on.
Well, this is going to be one of our, I can tell you, this is going to be one of our priorities in 2020, and that is getting to all these legislators. Like, if you think back when we went over the mission goals for 2020, it's to meet with all the assigned legislators and targeted legislators. So this is an area that we're really going to push and do a better job of accomplishing our what we're trying to do here. Paul, I didn't ask you to comment on this tonight, but have you talked any with maybe Jack or someone about a capital meeting, a capital surge?
I haven't started work on it, but definitely want to do a capital surge day this year. We'll have to figure out the best time to do it, and what would be great when we do that is really focus on these 36 targeted legislators.
Right.
And if we get a big enough crew down there, we can certainly get in front of each and every one of them. We'll just have to figure out the best time to do it. I don't think yesterday would have been a good day. I heard it was pretty crowded down there with the red parade.
Yeah.
I think they had 15,000 show up.
Really?
So they've set the standard for us, guys. We're going to have to get to the point where COS can mobilize 15,000 people to the state capitol.
All right. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Paul on anything that he just covered?
This is Melba. I have just something to add, and that is that Larry Hudson and I and Jack Sturz are going to be in the State House on December the 12th. We have a meeting just to catch up with our legislators and see who we can hook up with. So if there's any other DCs that want to come and join us, we're going to be there. Larry, I think it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Is that correct? Larry Hudson still on? I'm pretty sure it's 10 o'clock in the morning, but we're trying to get appointments with any other legislators that might be there that day, just so that, you know, we can.
Excellent. Thank you for mentioning that, Melba. Be sure to get pictures.
Okay, we'll do.
Hey, Melba,
Yeah.
I'll commit right now in front of everybody. I'll join you guys. Just check my schedule and it's open so I can be there.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good, thanks. As an off the side, can I ask, who is it that manages the spreadsheet that's on COS Patriot Games that spells out who our representatives and who our senators are?
I'm not sure that site is still maintained and kept up to date.
Okay. I was just wondering because I find it kind of difficult to scroll through because everybody's not listed kind of in order of what district they're in, and I just thought it'd be a lot easier if the whole spreadsheet just got sorted out by district rather than the way it is now. I'm not sure how it is. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to use Patriot Games for district captains to enter the reports of their meetings with legislators. That functionality still works. We've also wanted to use it for social media warriors, but that has been shut down, and I don't think there's a long-term plan to go back to Patriot Games. So I think that's something that's going away.
Okay, thanks.
I don't think it'll go away for legislator notes. There's too many people using it, and it's the preferred method. I think it'll be rolled into that COS Action app that I was talking about. Well,
hey,
Melba,
better news, yeah.
Melba, you could submit a help desk ticket on that. See if you can.
Okay.
And by the way, that COS Action app is available on the Apple App Store if you want to load that on your phone.
All right. Anybody have anything else? All right. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, there's nothing for Android yet, right? Is that what I understood? An Android app?
Right, that's correct.
Okay.
All right. Comms team. Ken Kashuba.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Can't see you. And there you are.
Okay.
Turn your volume up a little bit if you can.
I can do that for you. How's that? A lot better?
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Not too loud. I don't want to hear you that good. You know.
All right. Well, we're going to push out.
Yeah, you're fine.
Push out some extra volume for you, Dale. I know.
Okay.
I know we've been having this volume thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for the comms team, there's a couple things that are in the works that we're hopefully going to be finishing up in the next week or so. We've got some memes that are being created for Instagram, as we talked about that at the state meeting. So I've got some memes that we'll be creating and getting over to John for use on the Instagram section that we were looking to do. Also working on getting some more things for a calendar that we'd like to put together that will have our legislator information along with gun shows. I've got plenty of links for gun shows, so that's not too hard to find, but it's nice to be able to put it into a calendar that we can stick on Slack. And possibly looking into getting that calendar put onto the Facebook page. A couple of other items that we're looking at that we talked about that I haven't really got started on yet is the idea that we talked about with a video newsletter for DCs that maybe writing isn't their forte, and they want to do a short video newsletter. Still had some phone tag going on with this gentleman that Gary talked about that's up near the Chicago area, about possibly putting him to work a little bit with us, and that would be coming up with some kind of a video template that we could have our DCs plug their videos into and make it look real official for the state. So that's something that's in the works. Probably would be something that we might target for rolling that out sometime after the holidays in January. And the last thing on my list is Dale's got plenty of ideas set up for Marengo Mike, and some of those are like training type videos. I don't want to call them training videos. Let's call them introduction type videos, things that we can use for people that are new coming in, how to get to the website, sign up, so on and so forth. So there's a number of ideas that Dale's. I think Dale wakes up at 3 a.m. every morning and comes up with these lists of ideas that he's got, and I usually get them in an email, and there's some good ideas. So yeah, we're working on that, and I think we'll have a few of those ready to go.
I know. I'm sure when Ken, when he sees my Slack message and it starts out just a thought.
just a thought. Yeah.
He knows it's going to be more work for Ken.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the update there.
Okay.
That's about all I've got. And if anybody's got any questions, or otherwise, I'm sure the rest of our team, John might have something. I don't know whether John's following me or what, but
yeah, John's coming up next. So John, you're on there, John, right?
Question.
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Somebody had a question.
Yeah. Ken, Larry Hudson.
Hi, Larry.
We're getting ready to put out another newsletter, and I think I speak for Melba. Chime if I don't. Chime up there, Melba, if I don't. But who can we go to help with importing photos into this newsletter? We're using the newsletter template, but getting the photos sized and getting the text to wrap around the photo has been something I just simply can't do.
The wrapping text is a little bit of a challenge, but as far as importing a photo, you should be able to just when you click on the boxes that are already there, you should be able to import a picture off your computer using the same sizes that are listed in the template. Should make it fairly easy to put a picture in.
Well, the picture comes in much too large, and then the text won't go up alongside the picture, so you've got a big blank space in the. So it just doesn't seem to want to work.
Wrapping text in that format, Larry, is going to be very difficult. Like I said, it's a kind of a clunky template that we have
You
to.
can't format the picture. Can you format the picture to reduce the size of it?
You should be able when you're putting in the when you click on it to put it in, you should be able to put in the section where it allows you to basically put in the size. You should be able to type in the exact size that you want it to be. Larry, we might have to get together maybe and do a little one-on-one. Maybe we can get that worked out for you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, Ken, work with Larry on that. Yeah. We got to move on here, folks. We're running out of time tonight.
Okay.
Okay, John, you're up. You got anything?
Well, yeah, just short and sweet. Just want to highlight that I'm continuing to recruit and work with brand new social media warriors and getting our Indiana supporters to write letters to the editor of their local paper, and starting to work on some ideas to promote our COS Indiana Live. I've got some social media warriors and some other volunteers who are starting to promote that on Facebook. So,
okay, Rodney, are you still on tonight? I don't know if Rodney.
I am.
Yeah, Rodney talked about us at the Midland meeting. Am I right about promoting COS Indiana Live?
I had a conversation with our communications director, guy John Schneck, and the guy that you may see articles have for a long time. He was actually on the webinar, Jordan Sillers, and what they were saying was promoting the Indiana Live on the national Facebook page would probably inspire other states to do the same thing and get their attention and all that. So they're all on board with that whole thing.
Good.
Love what you're doing. Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I hope that comes to fruition. That would really be helpful. Okay, John. Anything else, John?
No, that's all I wanted to say. And if anybody on the call is interested in helping, just reach out to me on Slack.
All right. Thanks, John. I just wanted to touch base on Indiana Live that we're going to, in December, we're going to start with two chapters per month on the constitutional literacy, which is brought to us by Debbie Stewart, one of our COS volunteers. So, and December 9th, we're going to feature Gary and Ed Paraguay talking about the gun shows that we do and how we've had success with gun shows. So tune in to us every Monday evening at 7 o'clock. Might also mention that in the November 1st weekly roundup put out by National, we were featured in an article there. Our October 28th broadcast was featured, where I had Ken, John, and Gary on, where we talked about our training program. So we got some publicity there with the weekly roundup. All right, young Americans. Picture of Maya at the bean dinner here in Allen County that Paul mentioned. Anything, Paul, that you want to add? I know Maya's got classes tonight, right?
Yeah, so you got an old American filling in to report on young Americans. Yeah. So
hey, I want you to tell everybody the letter she got.
Oh, sure. So before I jump into the bean dinner, this is I guess a proud dad talking. Maya has been accepted at Patrick Henry College for the fall of 2020. If you don't know, Patrick Henry College was founded by Michael Ferris, the co-founder of Convention of States, and she's going to enter there as a pre-law student. So Number one, we're real excited about that, but then number two, we're going to have to find a new Young Americans coordinator
Right.
by August. So,
yeah, I just might mention that I know there's, I don't know how many, but I know that there are some Patrick Henry graduates that are working in our national group, our national organization. So,
Robert Kelly, our lead counsel, is a Patrick Henry graduate.
Yeah.
And he's really a big reason why Maya's attending there, because he and I had a conversation at the summit this past summer, and he's the one who talked us into taking a look at Patrick Henry, and once we visited and she applied, she fell in love with it, and that's where she's going.
Good deal. Okay.
And then at the bean dinner, you got a couple pictures here. Maya's with the Teenage Republicans group, so her membership there got her free admission to the bean dinner and to the VIP reception prior to the dinner. So
better than her dad got.
I was jealous, so I paid the extra money to get into that same reception and hang out with some of the people that Maya's hanging out with. So you see a picture of her with the governor, and then the governor with the Teenage Republican group right below that.
Yeah.
So
right.
It was a really good event.
Okay. All right, let's move on here. We're running out of time. Tim can't be with us tonight, but just want to mention again, Tim's the state prayer contact. So if you have any personal needs or any other needs, please get with Tim and let that be known so that he can pass that on to the national prayer group. Okay. We'll go around the horn here real quick. Now, I want to also mention to you, well, I should have corrected this. This is the December state call. I'll correct that right now, as a matter of fact. The December, well, I messed it up. The December state call will be December 18th. So, obviously, we're having to move it up due to Christmas. So December 18th, everyone, put that on your calendar. So let's go. Let me see if I can get the list up here now, and who's on the call tonight. Okay, we've already John, Paul, Ken. Larry has spoken. George, you got anything else?
This is George. No, I'm trying to add the stake all to my calendar. Leave me alone.
Okay, I'll leave you alone. All right.
Good meeting. Though. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right. Melba, you got anything else?
I have a couple of things. The first thing is I'd like to say kudos to Larry Hudson. I don't know, I joined the meeting late, so I apologize if I'm being redundant, but Larry wrote a letter to the editor, which was published in the Current, and it appeared in, I believe, 4 newspapers around Hamilton County. So a letter for COS, of course, in support of COS and letting people know about the Convention of States website.
Well, good job, Larry. Good job, my man.
And the second thing is really a question to clarify, because at the 2020 strategy meeting was the first time that I had heard that we were supposed to be putting the petition signers in a spreadsheet. So I just want to clarify, after we fill out the spreadsheet on the petition signers we've gotten, do we then mail on that paperwork to Houston or to Texas?
I'm not.
I think this is a question for Gary, but I'm not sure. That's kind of one of the things that was missing in our training, was it was never really clarified anywhere in the training. I had assumed we were just going to mail these petitions off to the address listed at the bottom of the petitions. So that it was there that I heard that that there's a spreadsheet we're to fill out, which I did that. But then is the second step to mail it out to Houston?
If I understand your question right, I think the answer is that if you're able to input them, which I thought you could input that through Citizen Builder, but if you can input that information from a manual petition, then you don't need to mail the petition to anyone.
I'll add, Dale, Gary told me in an email that you ought to just keep the petitions for a rainy day. And at some point, I suppose we can dispose of them. But, he recommended that I not destroy the existing petitions. These were petitions from that Kokomo gun show. So
right, but once they're input, which is the important thing, but once they're input, you do not need to mail the petition to anyone.
That's correct. He said don't mail them in, but he said don't throw them away either.
Right, right.
They're legal documents, right? Aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know if we'll ultimately destroy them, but he said just keep them.
Yeah. That answer it, Melba?
Yes. So I did not input it into Citizen Builder. I filled out the spreadsheet, so I don't know who inputs it into the Citizen Builder.
I can try to find out the information where that spreadsheet goes, because you like email it or Slack it to somebody and they upload it into Citizen Builder.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. All right. Okay. Richard Volcom, you on here?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Richard. You got anything?
No, let me see, what did I do? Had a gun show in November. Jackie Walorski came through, looked at the Convention of State sign, kind of glared, looked away. I was like, all right. Passed out a couple of applications for people. And it was my first gun show. It was kind of boring. Kind of, I don't know what to really expect. I mean, I sat a lot.
When you do these information tables at gun shows or wherever, please take a picture and let me know about that so I can include this in our state call. I'd like to recognize you for doing these types of things. And Gary, huh?
I put the picture up on Slack. I had the banner in front of the table, so I need to come up with a way to kind of have it up above the table, the display table, more of a.
Well, I missed it. I missed it. I'm sorry.
Well, I met some nice people, and they kind of walked me through what to expect, the set and everything else. But
okay. All right.
So,
all right, thanks.
One down, more to go.
All right. Thanks, Richard. Keep going, man. Good job.
Yes, sir.
Thomas, you on?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
Oh, we're still here.
Good. Got anything you wanted to say?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. Just the Larry and Melba, you had a person come through and sign your petition, fact from the House District 34, because those that's already hit the follow-up tool, and it's already been processed. So it's been. It used to have on those profiles they've got who's actually uploaded the thing into the Citizen Builder.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Well, that should be a wrap for tonight, unless anybody's got anything else. once again, our December state call will be on December 18th. So put it on your calendar. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. And I'll be getting the recording out so others can see it tonight. So thank you all. Good job. Keep up the good work. I think we're going to have an exciting 2020. So once again, thank you. And everyone have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Amen.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Awesome team.
Good
Be
night.
talking to you next month. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night, all.